Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today at the Wedding Planning Summit. We are really glad to have with us Helen from Rosette Design & Co. with us. So she will share with us how you can do better wedding styling and decoration for your wedding. Yeah. So thank you Helen for being with us today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about Rosette and what do you guys do?
Okay, Rosette foremost is a creative event company that focuses on the overall experience of the wedding and also the aesthetic part. So we are also decorators, planning, we do our own flower, we do our own stationery invitations as to create one cohesive look for the wedding. So that's what we do.
So do you see yourself as a wedding decorator or wedding stylist? Because we hear a lot of different names, right? Wedding decorator, stylist, florist, planner, etc. So what's the difference?
Okay, then I'll give you one more name.
More word to add on to the list.
It's wedding designers. Actually, we are first the designers. We are conceptualizers also for the wedding. So we take the stories of the couple and then we advise on the what theme that you should choose for your weddings. Of course, nowadays people can just grab from internet, but it might not suit them, their personality. So what we do is we break down their stories, their personality, and then we come up with a theme and we come up with a wedding logo. We call it a branding, the branding of the whole wedding. So from your invitations, your logo, your stationery, then to your flowers, to your stage design, it's one look.
I see. So it's very consistent, right? How it looks like from the end to the end. I see. Okay, branding of a wedding. I think that's something that's quite new and interesting to all of us.
Yeah, right. We have been trying to push this idea about branding of weddings, but of course, branding seems very corporate. We use it all the time in the corporate identity about a brand, a product. But why can't you brand your own weddings as one-off? Like
that's true. That's true. It's kind of like personalizing or customizing as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. So look, when we talk about like knowing what style we want, like if I want to brand my wedding or a couple comes to you, okay, Helen, I want to make a different wedding. I want to have a style. How would you advise them to go about it? Because not everyone is comfortable with saying what kind of style they want, right? Because it can be something that I don't know how to express.
So we always start with an interview. We want to know what's the background of the couple. Because at the end of the day, every wedding will be different because the couple is different. So what's their stories behind their love story and how they met? And do they have any particular things that they do together and that makes them unique? So if they like to maybe cycle together, they like sports. So we take this little element and if they are comfortable to showcase during their wedding, we create a logo that maybe like a bicycle logo or a certain image that represents this item. Then we use it as a symbol for the weddings. So it always starts with their story.
Like a monogram.
Yeah, monogram is possible if they want an elegant theme, or if they want whimsical theme, then we can just look at their hobbies.
Right. Can you share some themes that that couples are looking at right now? Like, what are the themes that are like evergreen? Or maybe give us some suggestions of some themes that are maybe a little bit more special?
Currently, couples are very in tune with the visuals in Pinterest, in like bride stories. So they see a lot of images and they tends to gravitate towards the same theme, rustic, then very elegant, soft, because it's pleasing to the eyes. So couple can come to us and then if it match their likings, usually they will go towards this look. Because pastel, rustic, elegant.
It will always be there, right?
Yeah, it's forever, always there forever because it's easy. It's also nice by itself. But I always try to push a little bit for the couple to dig deeper.
What do you mean by that? How can I do that?
You can have an overall theme of maybe a rustic theme, but do you have anything that's special for you? Maybe your name or your monograms, a little bit about both of you that you need to put a stamp onto your whole aesthetic of the wedding. Like I have couples who have rustic theme, but they like calligraph monograms. So the calligraph monograms is their personalized, small personalized things for their wedding. So maybe just a small items like that you can consider. So instead of looking at making it look like the other people's wedding, maybe you can just put a stamp of your own personality.
So how should you advise couples to do their research for the styles?
Maybe first thing is you need to see the venue. What kind of venue are you getting or getting married in? If you want a rustic theme, then your ballroom is very beach noir or very oriental. It's hard to execute it. So first you must know what venue you want, or or the other way around. You know what theme you want, then you find a venue that suits the theme. If you already have your venue, I will say you look at the overall venue feel and work towards that instead of changing it to the extreme
instead
side.
of totally wanting to change it to something else.
Yeah.
And do you think they should be doing a lot of Pinterest or Instagram posts or?
Yeah, I always ask my couple to create a board in Pinterest to just pin things that capture their eyes and images that speaks to them. But we might not duplicate it. We don't want to replicate something that's already there, but we want to know what do you like, what captures your eyes.
But do you think it will be confusing if I start pinning and go crazy and I pin like 100 pins, right?
Yeah.
And the outcomes could be quite different.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. Actually, it's quite common. Like this week, the trend is maybe flower arc, full flower arc. Then the next week, the trend may be cherry blossoms. So couple does get confused. So we narrow down, or maybe we take the color. Maybe it's the same color tone that you were looking at, then maybe we can stick with the color tone. But the outcome may not be the same. So it's more on the general feel. Yeah. So you also, once you set a theme, don't go on Pinterest anymore. Yeah. So,
don't keep looking, right, after you've confirmed.
Yes. Because you always have another idea, and it's never stop.
I see. So how long before the wedding should a couple start to do this process in terms of thinking what theme or what styling they want?
I would say maybe 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months before the wedding. Couple tends to choose venue first. That's the first thing that they book. So my suggestion is before you book any venue, you must know what kind of weddings do you want. Do you want a banquet wedding? If you want banquet weddings, means maybe your style will not be you have a fixed style already that is more elegant or more convenient is number one instead of full outdoor weddings, Western. So you should bear that in mind when you choose your venue.
I see. Okay. So when I'm thinking about like doing decor for the wedding, like which are the areas of the wedding do people usually decorate? Do you have like areas that you would suggest that they do? Maybe the reception or the aisle or what?
Yes. I always advise couple to don't look only on the ballroom area, but look during the receptions, because there will be that is the time when your guests is all mingling around and they will be kind of bored because they have to wait before the ballroom
especially
door
if
is
the
open.
wedding starts a little bit later.
It's 1 hour. Usually they have to mingle about 1 hour. So I always advise the couple to look into displaying their photo in the photo galleries, or maybe having more interesting wishing table, or having a love timeline, a love story of their the timeline of their love story, and maybe do up more on the reception area. So having a photo booth is always ongoing trend, and people still love it, although it's been a while. But it's still fun to.
What about inside the ballroom? What can couples do?
Okay, inside the ballroom, I think you need to focus more on the stage, because if you're having a family style, then the first dish the first dish come in, they will take out the whole centerpiece.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to put a lot of money into the centerpiece?
Yeah, I would say if you're having a family style in the banquet, maybe, yeah, don't really...
So family style is where they put the dish in the middle and
Yeah.
everyone takes it, right?
Yeah.
That's why all the centerpieces needs to be removed.
Yes, in the first
But
dish.
if we are doing a individually plated ones, then it's okay.
Yeah, then the centerpiece will remain. So I always also advise the couple, maybe do something stationary or interesting things about them in the menu. So the couple the guest can write something or read something about them. And I'm favorite more towards the individual menu than having to share, because
The individually plated ones.
individual menu on your own plates.
Right.
Because I've been to a banquet whereby I have to share the menu, right? Usually you share the menu and you feel like kind of awkward to ask, like, can I have the menu? So for my own weddings also, I have show plates, acrylic show plates with menu inside.
See.
So it's a hit among my guests. So I think the guests will appreciate that.
Interesting. Okay, so these are probably one of the ideas that couples can have to personalize their wedding,
Yeah.
right? Do you have other ideas that that couples can consider to personalize their wedding?
Yeah, so I think guests will look at the details. So maybe instead of having numbering 1, 2, 3, maybe you can have cities where you travel together, or like I'm doing one wedding where the theme is stars in December. So we do a constellation of stars as a table number.
That's nice.
So that is something different than just numbering. So that's element that you can work on, and it's not expensive to print a table number. Even for individual menu, it's also not expensive, but it's a worthwhile investment. You can also write about fun facts.
Fun facts
Yeah.
about the couple.
Yeah, we did one wedding Peranakan theme, so we have 10 fun facts about Peranakan.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's something that the guests can read while waiting for the dish to come.
What about like things that are maybe to bring back for the couple? I mean, for the guests, or like things that you can just put on the table for people to see.
Wedding favors is kind of a love and hate relationship.
Why?
Because the usual wedding favors is I will not say cheesy, but you actually don't need them, like coaster. You have so many coasters and
Yes.
and
Chopsticks, pepper and salt.
pepper and salt. So that's a novelty items that you collected so much and end up
Yes.
actually collecting dust in your house.
Absolutely.
So one nice gesture is maybe you can donate. You can do donation instead of giving to the guest. Then you can maybe donate this amount of money that you budget for wedding favor to a charity of your choice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Then you can just write a small
Thank
card
you
to
note.
them. Yeah, thank you. You are donating something to this charity on your behalf. So that's something that's meaningful for wedding favor. Or I think edible wedding favors is also preferred. So after that, well, you just
Pop it in your mouth
yeah,
and
then
like
that's-
it's
yeah.
like a second dessert, right?
Yeah. Macarons is also very popular, and I had one Moscato. It's the guests love it. Yeah, mini Moscato.
Of course.
Yeah, that's actually
Of
spicy.
course, I would love it too.
Yeah.
What about the wedding cards, the save the date cards, and I mean, how do you work with couples to customize it, and how much time does it take to customize something like that?
Okay, first when we work with couple, first we will do up a wedding. We have a design meeting first to create the theme, the logo, and everything. Then that's also when we create the invitation design. So invitation design is not an afterthought, because that's the first thing that the guest will see. It sets up expectation. So you can do that like 6 months before the wedding to design, and usually you will notify them first for save the date. Like maybe just book a date. You can do it via Facebook or text message. Nowadays, it's also quite common. In fact, more and more couple go green by ditching the paper to go e-invites, because it's also quite troublesome to send and to meet up with 100 people, say examples. So you still have the design, but you maybe do it a different way, like e-invites.
Right. Is this usually under the scope of a wedding decorator or wedding stylist?
For us, it's under the branding itself.
So what about other, like the norm?
Usually no.
Usually what does a wedding decorator handle?
Wedding decorator handle the decoration on the actual days, actually.
But not whatever that's before that. Like not the favors, not the cards, not.
Yeah.
Usually those are handled by.
Usually it's handled by separate vendors.
The stationery, wedding stationery.
Yeah, wedding invitation vendors.
Right.
Wedding stationery vendors.
Right, so say for wedding planners who don't do their own like decoration design, so they will work with companies like yourself to conceptualize it for their clients?
Because we also execute the decor. We have our own props, our own backdrop, our own flower, and we do it in-house. So the idea can come from the planner. A couple comes to us with the idea, and we help them execute the wedding itself.
I see. Okay.